Good morning, everybody. It is August 26th, 2024. That's a Monday for those of you in the future. In case you're wondering, by the way, yes, I am in the car. I'm in the Serena. This is the curtain I used to block out the light, plus keeps the sunlight out from the kids' eyes when we're traveling. I'm at the laundrette right now because I have 25 kilos of wash to dry, and I'm not standing outside in this heat doing that. Anyway, busy weekend. We were up at the family farm in Hirao yesterday. Again, it was too hot to do as much work as before, obviously. So yesterday just kind of tidied up some bushes. There's a lot of bushes up there, as you saw in one of the previous videos, and they were just overgrown with ivy. So yesterday I spent an hour or so just ripping all the ivy off. I've just trimmed all of these bushes. Basically, there's a big pile of leaves right there. It's mostly ivy, so I've taken all that off. I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm exhausted. It's getting really hot now, and still not quite as hot as it was in the previous video. Oh, that one up there. But it's still hot. It's very humid. The days are getting shorter, thankfully. Yeah, when it's a bit cooler, another month or two, a little bit cooler than now, a lot cooler actually, by 10 degrees, it'll be a lot easier to go trimming them and not get exhausted every 15 minutes. What a glorious day. There's that footpath. You can see the wall up there. Goes all the way up there. That's not the house. It goes way past that house. And one day I think I'll do a video up there. This is obviously the back end of the Serena. And I don't have a camping van, but this converts into a nice little camper with the seats down and a bed and everything. So I'm going to make a video of that for you guys sometime soon. Just so I'll give you some ideas that if you've got a van like this, but you don't have the budget to do it out as a camping van, I'll give you some ideas on how you can just turn it into a little temporary camping home from home without the expensive budget of a camper van. It's still hot today. There is a typhoon coming on the way. I'll put a screenshot here of what it's supposed to be looking like in this area on Thursday, Friday. Originally, it was supposed to hit by Wednesday. According to the weather forecast, it's going to hit this area on Friday, but it could still change. The last one didn't transpire that I mentioned. Not too worried about the typhoon. You get used to those, just like, you know, strong winds if you're in the UK, and especially in the northeast, northwest area, you'll know that gale force winds are nothing new. You learn to live with those. Just gonna have some of my coffee here. This is one of my favorite coffees. Oh, it's lovely. It's cold coffee as well. I was talking with a friend of mine this morning, and he's an American. We're talking about living here in Japan and how life is as a permanent resident here, and more so what the work life is like. So we're talking about what it's like to live here long term and work in a Japanese company. And the upshot is, and now not everybody will agree with these points, because there are people who live and work here and they work in good companies. Maybe their companies are foreign owned, and therefore their work experience that they're going through every day is a lot more positive than most people. But for the most part, most foreigners come to this country to work as an English teacher. Foreigners who work in a Japanese company will never look down on each other. They'll always treat each other with the same level of respect. They'll always treat each other as though they're on the same level, regardless of their position in the company. They'll treat them as though they're on the same exact level. The sad thing is, and this does not apply to everybody, all right? it's a sad fact that people get overlooked for promotion in Japanese companies. If you're a foreigner, you'll often get overlooked for promotion. You might get a salary raise every other year, but won't be significant. Your bonus might not be as much. When I worked in the car place 10 years ago, my bonus was just $100, basically 80 yen, which it was about $100 back at that time. While my Japanese counterparts were getting bonuses of, like around 500,000 yen. I didn't get much of a pay raise. I think I got an extra 20 yen an hour the first year, whereas some of the Japanese guys were getting like 50,000 yen a month extra. I do know now though that company is not paying out bonuses, so there is that going on for that company right now. They're not paying bonuses to the lower levels. Of course, the managers get their bonuses. It's always the way, right? Even in my wife's company, they've cut their bonuses because they bought a new company overseas, so they have to keep some money in the bank. But the management are getting their salary, right? And we know at least two people, or three actually, who work in that company who are making in excess of 20 million yen a year each, and they get their bonuses as well twice a year. If you're looking to come to Japan for a job, don't expect much. If you want to come as an English teacher as part of an experience, or just as a way to get through your foot through the door, just to come and experience Japanese life and the culture, that's fine. That's what most of us did in the beginning. The reason why we stay is because some of us, like myself and my friend, we started families. We got married, we settled down, and so teaching English was the only real stable full-time job that we can get that pays decent money. Now, for most Americans and Europeans coming here, you're going to be very disappointed with how much the salary is, the amount of taxes you have to pay, the level of work that you're expected to do for the salary, whereas you'd be getting 3 to 5 times more money back home for the same level of work. So if you're expecting to come here and make money and get rich, you're going to be very sorely disappointed. Now, like I said, there are people here from foreign countries who are working and making a great living. There is one German girl on YouTube, I believe, that is working in a Japanese company. I think it's like a manga company. She seems to have a really great job and she gets on really well with her colleagues. They seem a lot more open-minded. I just wish a lot more managers were a lot more open-minded, managers and business owners. Yeah, the upshot is, guys, you're going to hit a glass ceiling from day one if you come here to look for a job. I'm recently been considering opening another English school with the goal in mind that I do not want to teach. I would absolutely have to have other people teaching. I am so tired of teaching, but I know how to run an English school. It was something I did from 2002 to 2008. I had a brick and mortar business called Route to English. The road actually in front of me right here is Route 2, or as we say in Japanese, Nikosen. Of course, back then I had the idea that, I would open a string of schools all along Route 2. And for those of you that don't know, Nikosen runs along much of Japan. So that was the goal back then. After, I think, 4 or 5 years, I started to get a little bit disheartened with it mostly because of parents. That I had a lot of kids on my books. I had a lot of students. At one point I had over 360 students, and I was doing most of the work myself. And that included corporate classes and big school classes as well. And I was making very good money, but just one day I just had enough. And then the financial collapse of 2008, when at that time Nova, Kaiwa, the big English school Nova, went under for lots of different reasons. There was basically an accumulation of reasons from both students and staff all over Japan, and Nova has never been the same since. And it had a knock-on effect when Nova went bankrupt at that time. It had a knock-on effect that people stayed away from English schools. So basically, I just took that opportunity just to think, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm not teaching kids anymore. I'll teach. I'll teach university level. I'll teach corporate, and that's basically what I've been doing ever since. I don't miss having a business. It's not easy to run a business here. Oh, it's not easy to run a business anywhere. When you're the boss, the teacher, the accountant, the advertiser, you've got all these things to consider. And the worst thing about was I went to the tax office the first year I was in business, and I was a registered business. The worst thing was when I went to the tax office with all my books for the first year, with all my receipts, they just weren't interested. And so they just wanted to know how much money I made. And they said, okay, this is how much tax you have to pay, blah, blah, blah. And then the following year, it was really bizarre. I did the same thing, and then they gave me back the previous year's tax that I paid. So in that respect, it's like they just don't want to take you seriously, whether you're a business owner or not. A lot different mindset here than it is to Osaka or Tokyo. The senpai and I forgot the word now. No, Enhai. I've forgotten the word. I'll put it up here. If you're coming to start a life here, just keep in mind, if you've got skills that can be used, like if you've got programming skills like Python or C++ or Java, JavaScript, or any of those things, there are an abundance of jobs, especially in Tokyo, for programmers. So in that respect, I would recommend if you want to come and work as a programmer in Japan. Again, you might not make good money for the first year or two, but there's money to be made if you've got those kind of skills. And those are skills I've been trying to learn and grow on. It's been a bit of a rant. Thanks for watching anyway. Just keep in mind what I said, all right? Japan's not for everybody.